Okay. Hello.
Hello there.
Yeah,
Um,
this
yeah, we,
this is a pilot. I don't know.
we just
We're
it's
talking about stuff.
it's two
This is
people
re
sort of bumbling around, and maybe
just
it'll work, maybe it won't, but we'll
yeah.
we'll enjoy it regardless.
Yeah, sounds about right. Um, but yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Do
not
you want
really
to
sure
just
how.
do introductions now?
Yeah, sure.
uh, I don't know. Do we want to say this is just like a Bumble Fest? Do we want to say like our I'm Gary. You're gonna hear me called as Gary
Yeah.
a lot.
Yep. Yep.
I play too many games for my life, and I like cars.
Yeah. I'm Mitchell. I like history a fuck ton, like more than it should
Yeah.
really be normal.
It's true.
Um.
I'm also sick.
Oh yeah. And pretty big nerd. I think we both are really though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
So I guess you want to talk about games or movies first?
Movies. I think
Okay.
we can
Well,
because that'll be a cinch to get through.
yeah. So new movies I'm excited for. Um, Fast 9. Planning on going and seeing that.
Yeah, honestly, I think I would go to that with you. I'll have no idea what's going on,
Yeah,
but
it's basically beating a dead horse at this point. John Cena's in it.
really,
Yeah, John Cena is in it. Um,
okay,
so that's gonna be an interesting one. Um,
that's interesting.
there's Cars, of course. There's a love interest. I know that for sure just from the trailer, the one trailer I
Hmm.
saw, and that's about all I know. Um,
Hmm.
trying to think of other movies I want to see. Still haven't seen Joker. Want to see that.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't think
there's Black Widow.
Black Widow. Yeah, that one I might just see just to see.
Honestly, I think I'll really only see that one just because I'm more interested.
In the fat guy.
No, I'm more interested in the like the KGB aspect and the Russian
Yeah.
part. Like, what are they going to do to portray that, and what sort of elements they're going
Oh
to
yeah,
tie in with
definitely.
that. Like, I'm very interested to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They're running out of characters. Huh. Sorry. They're running out of
Yeah,
characters to make movies on.
yeah, they really are.
Like the
But
Avengers series is over.
mhm.
They're probably gonna do another Spider-Man. Although I haven't seen
Yeah, I
either of
bet.
the new Spider-Man movies. I have not seen either of them yet.
Really,
Yeah, haven't
to
seen
be
either of
honest,
them yet.
I haven't either, actually. Yeah, I
I
haven't
need
seen
to go watch
Homecoming
them
Home.
just because Spider-Man is probably my favorite superhero, just in
Yeah,
general. I love Spider-Man PS4. That's
right.
probably by far one of my favorite games. That would have been a wonderful segue.
Yeah, I really would have. But
But
now
here
you
we
gone and
are.
goofed. Now you gone and goofed.
Yeah, now I have. Um,
I don't know.
there's Scythe, that whole Arc of Scythe book series.
Hmm.
Warner Bros. Has rights to a movie, and I want them to make it because it was a wonderful book series. Totally suggest reading it if you haven't. It's
Hmm.
post-apocalyptic. Natural death has been like um,
Like
eradicated, I
eliminated.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just a really good book. Really well written by Neil Schusterman. Um, loved
Hmm.
it. Did a book report on it in high school, senior year. That was what I did my final book on.
Another
Like,
segue. Fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you for
Uh, I'm throwing them out the window. Hey,
anything else you want to throw
I
out.
segued from movies into books. All right.
Yeah.
I
I
nailed
mean,
that one,
uh,
even though it wasn't on the schedule. But yeah, no, it's a really cool, um, cool book series.
I'd like to see 1917 aside from the stuff that they because a lot of people have been praising it for the one take style sort of
Oh yeah,
thing.
those I've
And
seen like cinematic reviews of it, like the
yeah,
cinematography, and it looks really impressive.
but even more on a obviously for me on the level of the historian. Like
Yeah.
I just want to see it. because I want to see them portraying World War One. We haven't really seen World War One
True, true, true.
very well portrayed. Like, I'm being honest, in film recently, like Wonder Woman doesn't count. That wasn't a very good portrayal. Just
What
saying.
about Captain America?
That was World War Two.
And there's my knowledge.
Um, I don't know, but I mean, I'm curious
Yeah.
to just see how they take that sort of topic and roll with it, because I know that the premise of it is this man who his brother, I think it is, yeah, is in a battalion that's going to launch an attack, and they're all going to die if they don't get the
Yeah.
message to them. So I think it's interesting though that they use that premise of we need to send a runner, because they would do that. They would send
Yeah.
runners. Um, I just think it's interesting how they use that to like explore the Western Front.
Yeah. Um, other movies. There's the Harley Quinn one.
Um,
That one's meh.
yeah,
I
I don't
still
know.
might go see that. I'm gonna look up movies on my laptop.
I mean, really, as far as the year for movies, just personally so far, it's not been that
Well, again,
particular.
it's been the new Top Gun.
Okay,
That
now
one,
that
that one I want to
that
see.
would be interesting. Yeah.
Um, what is it? Sonic.
Hmm.
They're coming out with another Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, right.
Mulan.
Mulan, I want to see actually. I really want
I
to see
don't
that.
want to because they changed it so much. I really think they changed it too much. It's no
Yep.
longer the Disney movie. It's its
But
standalone thing now.
I will say that because I went and saw Aladdin back in May, and
Wait,
a
did they
good.
say Birds of Prey? Was that the one you were talking about with the like
Uh,
kneecap, or was that a different one?
oh, no, 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 because you're thinking of Marky Rock or
Yeah,
Rock
that's the
Roger
Harley
whatever.
Quinn one.
Yeah. My name is starts with a T
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that
Um,
was a complete interruption.
but it's what was I saying again? It was
Mulan. It was about Mulan.
oh right, right. Well, I went to see Aladdin back in May, and there was a good number of differences, but I mean it was really enjoyable. Like it was a
Well,
good
yeah, no, I saw the live action, but they didn't cut characters.
right. I mean
They
I've
cut they
seen
cut the dragon dude. I forget his name, but they cut the
oh
dragon.
Mushu. Yeah,
Mushu.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was his name, but they cut him. I'm upset.
yeah. It. I understand that certain things need to change for like on-screen appearances, but
But okay,
you know,
CG is there enough to pull a full CG dragon for a whole movie.
I mean it
Like
was there enough for Will Smith and Aladdin, so.
I was about to say, as well as Chappie, that whole movie
Hmm.
had a very, very, very well done CG character. Like Chappie was full CG. Like they did it. It's not impossible, and they did that.
Right.
I don't know, however many years ago. That
Yeah,
was
I
what,
mean,
2 or 3 years ago. I think it was a 17 movie.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what it was. I haven't
It
seen
was
Lion
no,
King.
it was a 14.
It was.
Yeah, it was a 14 movie.
Speaking of movies from 14, John Wick.
John. Oh my gosh, John Wick. Yeah, that's a good movie. Movies I've seen that weren't as good as I wanted them to. Underwater
Mm,
really wasn't that good of a movie.
I haven't seen that one.
I don't know if you care about spoilers. There's a spoiler alert.
Nah, I don't really care,
Yeah.
but at least put it out for
Okay. Yeah,
if
there's
anyone.
spoilers if you care about the movie. Honestly, it's how long is the movie? It's like shoot, an hour and a half of exposition. And just like pretty
Oh,
much there's no pre-story, like there's no pre part. So you don't know how they got underwater.
hmm.
You don't know why um the station is breaking
Hmm.
until like you don't know anything. It literally throws you in with a character and then it's just like after 10 seconds station's blowing up. Like there's no wind up time. And then it's just that for an hour and a half. And then the ending just cuts off when that character dies. Um
Okay.
and it's really not good. I mean, the action was great. It was an
Right.
enjoyable movie from an action perspective, but I just left the theater wanting more, strictly because I wasn't like I felt because I coming from video games typically have very 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 hopefully they have very thought out stories like,
Yeah.
but that's
A
just
lot of
like,
games come to mind for that one, you
yeah,
know.
that's just like, so for example, The Witcher 3. Say you're
Oh
fighting
yeah.
like, I don't know it's pretty much just all the fighting, none of the story.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty much what it felt like. Like you just get all the battle scenes, but none of the like story behind it
Hmm.
and why it's happening and then what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Um so it
I
really
mean,
I didn't like it too much.
there was what was that movie we saw? Like the escape room movie.
Oh yeah,
To be
that
fair, I don't really know what I was expecting on that one, but
I wasn't either. I wasn't expecting much
like
cuz
they tried to add a story, but it didn't really
I
make
mean,
any
yeah,
sense.
well, they probably started with the idea of, oh, let's make a movie out of an escape room, and then
Right.
they probably went to, um, let's put a story behind it. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess if it had more time, they can't. They made a sequel out of it, which mean, or they're trying
Yeah,
to. They left it open for a sequel,
they did. I remember that.
which shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. No, they really shouldn't have.
I guess another movie that I want to see is Bad Boys for Life. I want to see that one because it's a comedy crime movie. Um,
Mhm.
it has a Porsche in it. I like that.
Hmm.
And it has Will Smith and one other
Yeah.
guy. I don't know his name. Oh, other movie I saw that I did like as well. Doctor Doolittle.
Oh,
Saw
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Really, really good movie. It honestly made me almost cry. Like,
You know, uh, if we're talking on just movies that you left the theater, feeling like, I kind of wanted more to that. I think really the most I've ever felt that, and this, albeit, just my opinion, but was definitely uh, Force Rises, or not
uh,
Force Rises. I'm actually retarded. But you know what I'm talking about. It's the first one of the sequel trilogy. Like,
oh yeah,
the-
Star Wars.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry, just making that clear.
Force Awakens.
Yeah,
There we go.
The Force Rises.
But Last Jedi is a whole can of shit that we're not going to get into because I'll be talking about it for
I
too
know.
long. But like Force Awakens, I went into that. I don't know. I was, what was I, like 14, and by that point, I had basically grown up with Star Wars. It had been introduced to me by my grandfather. It had been
Yeah.
like I had just grown up with it and grown up with the Clone Wars and all of this stuff. Like Star Wars is something that I will always treasure in my heart, and I
Mhm.
still do to this day. Probably will the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I go into it thinking like, yes. And here's the other thing. I attached a bit of an emotional value to it because my grandfather took my father to see the original Star Wars when he was a kid. And so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now my dad's taking me to see a Star Wars. The circle has been complete.
Mhm.
And
And
it
you got to do that
just,
with your kid too.
well,
Well,
if they
if they
haven't,
are any,
yeah,
take them. Build a home theater. Like,
right. But I mean, I don't know. My dad, even he like it was enjoyable. It wasn't a bad movie, but it just I don't know. I don't really know what I was expecting. I remember when they said, Kylo Ren and he's actually Ben Solo,
yeah.
and
And
that
spoiler
fat
alert if you haven't seen that movie somehow.
it's 5 years ago.
Whatever.
Yeah. But or was it? I don't know. So
It
time
was enough.
2015, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
but I because like I remember reading the shit out of Legends. And
Mhm.
I also remember the Disney takeover and when they like were just like, oh yeah, Legends don't mean nothing anymore. So all that Legends time that I'd spent was like, ah, cool. It means nothing now.
Yup. Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, when they revealed that it was like, oh, it's the child of Leia and Han, I was like, okay. Because in Legends they have 3 kids, so it's like, oh, okay, I get it. They're making Legends stuff canon, and to be fair, to give credit to Disney where credit is due, they have made some stuff from Legends like canon, and I really appreciate that. But then they just, I don't know. The other problem was J.J. Abrams did a really good job. I know that sounded no, the problem being he did a really good job on that one, and then the next movie, Ryan Johnson. Oh my God, Ryan Johnson! How did you mess
Who
that
was
up
it?
so bad?
Doesn't Ryan Johnson want to direct the second season of
Oh
Mandalorian?
yeah, yeah, he does.
The Mandalorian.
He
I still
does,
haven't
and he
seen that.
should not be allowed to touch that.
No. But yeah.
But just like the problem was, J.J. Abrams. Now, thankfully, he directed Rise of Skywalker, so there was some closure to certain things. But
Yeah.
because Ryan Johnson, developed the second one, the problem was all of these setups and tie-ins
Yeah.
to like the lore or to character development were just cut because they changed directors.
Mhm.
And it just, and Ryan Johnson did whatever in the fuck he was doing. No one knows whatever that was. Like he'd never heard of or even seen a Star Wars up to that point. It was like, yeah, I'll take the job. He's just ugh.
Yeah.
All right, Star Wars rant over.
Um, Other movie that I want to see, Free Man, or Free Guy, Free Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ryan Reynolds, so it's already gonna be funny. Um, because that's just all movies Ryan Reynolds is in.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Detective Pikachu. That was
Right.
a mildly comedic movie. But he, so you know the premise behind Free Guy, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I don't know. I'll still explain it anyways, cause why not?
Well,
But yeah,
yeah.
pretty much takes place in a video game. He's an NPC, and I believe he has to go defeat a bad guy, from what I
Yeah.
remember, cause he's like invincible or something like that. I don't know.
I remember the trailer for that, watching it in the theater when I saw Rise of Skywalker. I saw that Christmas Eve, actually, but unrelated. Anyway, but I remember the trailer was the girl like jumped on a motorcycle with him on it or
Yeah.
something, and she was like, "Is that a Glock in your pocket?" And he's like, "No, it's two."
Yeah, that's kind of like the whole thing. And that's pretty much all the. I guess the turning's another one, but I do want to see that, but I really have no one to go with anymore. So I guess we could go sometime. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
The Conjuring's coming out again. Tenant. That's, I guess it's like a time, or no, some dude dies or something like that. It's a sci-fi kind of like thing. Give me a second. I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
All right, I was sneezing. Sorry. um. Oh, that was painful. Oh, Godzilla versus Kong. That one's I'm just gonna see because big monster. That's why I saw the new Godzilla, but
Mhm.
big monster. Um, so I guess we pretty much ran out the movies
Yeah.
category. Do we want to move on to okay? So games. Um,
Oh yeah.
New games. You want to start off with new games you're excited for?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm just gonna have to like, as far as things that'll be coming out soon.
Yeah.
I always have to start with Doom Eternal.
Oh yeah yeah yeah
Like, I'm beyond excited for that.
yeah. It seems pretty hype. I haven't played Doom actually. Fun fact. Never played Doom.
Mm.
The I played the original Doom, like the OG Doom. Um,
Right.
the one that they make run on everything. But Doom 2016, it's a yeah, Doom 2016.
Yeah.
Um, haven't played that. We've seen gameplay of it. Haven't played it
Hmm.
though. But I don't know. I've been meaning to try it. But yeah. Um, Game I'm looking forward to. The Last of Us Part 2. I am
Oh
hype
yeah.
as all can be for that one. replayed The Last of Us. Fun fact, just finished it today again. Um, so and it did make me cry again
Yeah.
because it never probably won't. Um,
Excuse me. But, I mean, I think it just does that. It's one of its claims to
it's
fame, to be entirely honest.
yeah. Other games. You wanna start another game?
Oh yeah, it's obviously it won't be for a good while,
Yeah.
but I mean, still, I'm beyond excited for Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh yeah. That one I've been wanting to try for a while now, or I've been wanting to. I haven't looked into it whatsoever. I've only seen trailers, and I plan to keep it that way.
Yeah,
Um,
like that's the way I want to keep it as well. And I think honestly as well, aside from aside from like the gameplay and stuff like that, there's two real big reasons I think why I'm just so excited about it is
yeah,
number one, it's just CG Project Red. I mean,
yeah,
I've enjoyed absolutely everything they've put out.
yep. So they did. Did they do anything else besides The Witcher, or just The Witcher?
So far, just the Witcher series, but every one of them's been a really
Yeah.
good
Well,
game.
that's a solid claim to fame.
Hmm. But that's the thing is now they're branching out and they're doing more things like
Well,
that, and that's what I love about them is they're sticking to like that RPG,
that's the thing. Like,
style.
I after I finished up the Last of Us, I went through and I watched their like kind of documentary of how they made it, because that was included in the Last of Us remastered. Um, and they explained how difficult it was to make like a completely new game,
Hmm.
like a completely new IP. Like, because before Naughty Dog, the people who made Last of Us had made only Uncharted games. They had made
Hmm.
Uncharted 1 and 2, I believe, and then they split off a team to make a second game, or to make like a second title
Hmm.
after like all that stuff. Oh, and they had also made Jack and Daxter and Jack. I probably butchered that. But they made another game. But yeah, it's just the difficulty in making a new RP or RP IP is just
Yeah.
like a lot. So they're taking almost like a stab in the dark, I'd say. And
Hmm.
clearly it paid off big time just because of how much like everybody wants to do that, to have
Yeah.
that game and like play that game. And the fact that they did give that guy who said Keanu Reeves was breathtaking, they did give him a free copy. Um, or they are giving him a free copy, I guess. Um, just kind of like cements their like, yeah, now they're known as the people who not only made the Witcher series, but they gave away a free copy to someone who was kind. Like, just in that kind of general aspect.
Hmm.
As well as Keanu Reeves is in the game. that,
Yeah.
that that
Right.
that too. That too.
That's a pretty big thing, I think.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Um, so I guess another new game, Halo Infinite.
Hmm.
I just want to see where that goes, and it might be on the next gen of consoles, depending on when those come out. It might be the
Right.
flagship for Xbox's Series X consoles.
Oh yeah. You know what? When I was thinking about that, the other thing, CD Projekt Red, as well as they've done all the big Witcher games, 1, 2, and 3, but they've also done Gwent,
Oh yeah,
the card game. Not only in The Witcher 3, but like as a separate thing, which
yeah.
is pretty good. Like it's actually quite good. And Thronebreaker is phenomenal.
I haven't tried that.
It's to give you an idea. It within because I don't know how particularly well versed you are in like Witcher lore.
Not much, if any.
Basically, you know how he's Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah,
Well, he's not of Rivia, like technically. He became Geralt of Rivia, meaning he was knighted,
yeah.
and he was knighted by Queen Meve of Lyria and Rivia. And so then that game sort of like explores the backstory of why that happened when that happened.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That was a good show too. I did enjoy that quite a lot. If anyone who's listening slash watching, depending on what you're doing, um, hasn't seen it, go see it.
Oh yeah.
I have not started Lost in Space season 2 yet. I've been meaning to, but I haven't got around to it.
Oh, have you seen the? I know how much you like the Grand Tour. They're doing a new one of
Yep.
those, except with boats.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw. Me and my dad watched that. Like, I think it was the 1 or 2 days after it came out. I disliked it a lot because I watched that for the cars. But it was still funny and like they had their good old comedic charm and stuff like that. But it was just kind of like, I guess, boring because I was in it for the cars, but they did a bunch about boats.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still interesting. It was funny.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but it's included with Prime, which is nice. And I don't know how I feel about them changing it, but that's the only time like changing the way they do it because they've gone through a lot of changes in like
Right.
the structure of the show, um, which is very interesting.
Hmm.
But that's apparently their only time they're not doing cars, which I hope is true. But then I think this might be the last season as well.
I mean,
No, because James May said that he's not doing anymore after this.
well,
So
yeah, I was gonna
it's
be
either
like,
the last one with
I
him.
was gonna get all interprety, but yeah, no, that'll do it.
Yeah. Um, what else is there? Um, I guess. Shoot, I don't know. Trying to think of other stuff like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon or whatever. All of those are TM'd and copyrighted, of course. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, I guess I, I guess we could just. This is gonna be an atrocious segue, but segueing into like games we're currently playing that we like or stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, as I said before, played through The Last of Us again.
Hmm.
Um, and it was truly enjoyable. That's probably one of the games that I will go back and replay multiple times because the story is just so captivating. Um, and it's also just such a good playing game too.
Hmm.
Um, and other than that, I guess another game that I've been replaying. What is he doing?
What is?
Okay,
All
I'll let
right.
you handle that. Yeah, this is Discord. Um, yeah, don't let him in. He's recording. Um, I don't know. So, yeah, what games are you playing right now? Or like,
I mean,
what
I've been
games do
doing a
you want to
replay.
play?
I mean, I've been doing a replay of The Witcher. I've been loving every second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that's. I mean, I just. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I got through a lot of it, and then I kind of got burnt out. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I guess like I do enjoy the game. I just it's easy for me to get burnt out on that game.
Right.
Um,
And you know what? I recently just repicked up my copy of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice,
ooh,
and I put it back down again
yeah.
because I got stuck.
I was like I want to play that game, but I don't want to go through another Dark Souls experience because that kind of was not something I want to do again. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Um, I guess yeah. Uh, um, shoot. I am like cannot think of anything to talk about. Um,
There. I'm the negotiator.
the negotiator. I guess this podcasting. It's been almost a half hour.
I
Um,
mean, I think.
I think maybe just for this pilot we do a half hour because this kind of was winged.
Yeah. We can definitely go back if anyone gives a shit. And
Yeah, no, I'm definitely down to do this again and bring in more people
yeah, no.
because we there's more. Yeah, other people want to
But
hear
it's been
this.
pretty chill.
Yeah. So I guess do we want to like I don't know. I guess we've
I
already
guess.
talked about ourselves a little bit enough.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can just close it.
I don't know. Yeah. So I
Uh,
guess let us know if you want to see more of this or hear more of this or whatever.
Yeah,
We'll try to
we
make
can
it
talk.
happen.
We can talk deeper stuff. We can talk
Yeah, yeah,
movies. We
pretty
can talk
much
about
whatever you
whatever.
want. Yeah. And next time it'll probably be closer to an hour, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe. And then with
and
more
then more
thought out,
people.
more people,
Bring.
more thought out stuff. Probably a lot more entertaining in the respect of there's going to be a lot more conversation happening and just a lot more people and funnier people.
Yeah,
And I guess just bigger group,
yeah.
louder equals funnier.
Yep. I'm basically I speak like I'm an NPR
Yeah.
narrator.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just feel like sometimes we can have serious ones and sometimes we don't have to. And if you
hmm
guys and if there's like other topics like politics, even though I'm atrocious at politics, or some other
I will
topic.
knock that one out of the park.
I was about to say or some other topic we want to bring in. Probably
Yeah.
should stay away from politics cuz
Yeah, probably.
YouTube doesn't like politics.
No, no, yeah, it don't like that.
Um but I guess I don't know. Just we could talk about music sometimes. I don't know if you
Mm.
like that.
Oh
We
yeah.
could bring up car stuff because I'm good at that one. Like how
History.
how like Hummer, the people who made the H1 that's used in the army, is coming out with an electric truck. Um, but yeah, I can talk for hours about cars.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Same goes for history and
yeah,
nerd shit in general, like fantasy
yeah,
stuff. I'm really good at that.
and yeah, it's just early in the year, so I'm assuming throughout the year more stuff will come out, more stuff will get dropped,
Yeah.
and better stuff will happen and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I'm sure
But yeah,
we'll
I
have more to
guess
talk about.
yeah. Then that's just comes along with doing this is like over time you get stuff thought out and it will
Mm.
probably end up looking nicer too or it might just stay looking like this. I don't know. It depends on what everyone likes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess
But,
that's it.
till next time, everybody.
Yaw. Yaw ye. I'm not ending it on yaw yeet.
Please don't.
I guess yeah. I don't know. Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.